Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another intense one, boy.
Yeah.
They've been waiting for us to get back into this session. We just gonna jump right to it because our last session ended in a space that had me quite vulnerable and probably even revealing some things that I've never even revealed before, because we're talking about, my current process and how I deal with relationships. But we housed our last session in really being a man of God in a single world, or a secular world, as some have put it. And you opened up a lot of doors, but we were talking about, even our first session, heartbreak and divorce. But now I think getting to a space in this session is more about what and who you want to be in this world.
There you go.
And I think that's kind of even leading to, we talked legacy. And I was saying, as we're building a legacy, it's different from multiple men. And we watch great men be this in front of us. I think, we would agree, Dr. King, who I've always looked up to, is probably, for us, for our culture, probably has left the greatest legacy a black man could ever leave. Don't know if there's, just what he, just as an orator, just as a freedom fighter, just as a man of God.
Change maker,
It's remarkable. I don't know if anybody will ever be that, for our culture again. But then at the same time, another person who just as a potent legacy is Tupac.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there might be more people, specifically even black people, know who Tupac is and know who Martin Luther King is. And because of him being an artist, his words will last a lot longer than Dr. King's words. When you think about it, even as powerful as Dr. King's words was, it's gonna be, they sending California love to the moon. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be, and even because for an artist, like someone like Pac, to be a revolutionary and an artist at the same time, it's literally like you got Shakespeare and Caesar all in one person.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got the storyteller and the activist.
Sure.
He's telling his own story. But then at the same time, we can talk about people who are still here with us today, building fantastic and fascinating legacies, like a Jay-Z, like a Tyler Perry, like a Will Smith. And then we could talk about legacies of lately that have been crushed, like the Bill Cosbys, like the R. Kellys, like the Diddy's, like all of these people. And it's like, man, as men, specifically black men, we're trying to figure out, when it's all said and done, what did we leave behind? You know what I mean? Even as the word teaches, it's like, it's not gonna be how much money you made, how many cars you drive, but what did you do for others?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Dr. King said that as eloquently as we know.
Yeah.
But I say all of that to say, I'm no preacher. But I'm just dig into
Don't run from your calling, man.
I'm gonna just dig into the word a little bit when we took the books of wisdom, as we know, from Solomon. Proverbs let us know, give us hope. If you do this, 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 and this, your life will be this. Job gives us more of like, when it's down, if you keep the faith in God, you will make it through.
Right. Yep.
Job gives you hope. And then, but by the time, whoever the author is, it's believed to be Solomon. But by the time he got to Ecclesiastes, the common theme of that is life is hevel. Hevel in Hebrew is like a vapor. You know what I'm saying? Like
cynical.
So extremely cynical. By the time he got into his older age, he was really like, what does all of this mean? None of it means, no matter what you and I do, the mountains don't care.
Right.
So no matter what we put, no matter the Steve Jobs, no matter the Elon Musk, no matter the Benjamin Franklins or the Thomas Edisons, and then the way the Bible brings it all the way home is like, the only thing you can trust in is the Lord.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
But if you take the real cynical approach of even probably what that the author was saying, is there is no legacy. So as I try to compute it all.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot. Yeah.
In therapy, and I'm sitting there, you know, one thing, the easiest way to go to is, man, I just got to be the best father I could be. Yep. Because the one thing I know I'm currently responsible for are these little ones that are right in front of me.
Yeah.
That, you know, if I can get that right, and I'm not always gonna get it right.
Sure.
I'm gonna disappoint. I'm gonna miss a game or two here. I'm gonna miss a recital. I'm not gonna be able to answer the phone when, you know, you having boy trouble. There's something now, but if my batting average is, you know, at least 70%, you know, or better, I'm still going to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And the only people who can really judge me in all of this is going to be my children.
Yeah.
And I'm praying that they understand who their father is. Your father's gonna mess up. Your father's not perfect, but he's present. And he's as present as he possibly can be. And to know that it hurts my heart. And we've seen this a few times where we've watched some of these people who are in the public eye, their children get older and they get on social media and they talk about how hard their upbringing was because of said parent or whatever. And then they start to bash. And like, that's like my worst nightmare. But because of just the average, like,
Right.
out of, you know, 11 young children, somebody's gonna be upset with me at some point.
Yep.
But if I can operate out of love,
Yeah.
then my legacy had the purpose that I needed it to be. And the same thing with you saying, you just want your legacy to be love. I just want my legacy to be love. But we allow so many of these outside opinions in social media, like, because we're living our lives outside. And even the people who aren't living their lives necessarily outside, the opinions of your other family members, the opinions of your colleagues, your neighbors, it gets difficult for a man that, even though we've created the world that we created with self-accepting accountability, it gets difficult to maintain that legacy.
Sure. I mean, you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that. It's like going back to the story that I told about my father.
Yeah.
In the book, you know, what that story is that, you know, I found out when my father died when I was 9 years old of a heart attack when he was 36. And I found out in my teenage years that my father ended up having an affair with another family member.
Right, that was the picture, right?
There's a picture, found the picture of my,
where your mom looks sad.
Yeah, which is, you know, unbelievable as a teenager to find that picture of my mom and my dad and this other woman from the family, you know, that were sitting on the bed. And my father and the other woman, they were, you know, laughing, and my mother was really sad. And I said, what's going on here? And then one of my other family members told me the truth about what was happening and what had happened and why that picture looked the way it did. And so for me, I said, well, wait a minute, you know, can a man be faithful? You know, like, because when you talk about legacy, whether my father liked it or not, now this was a part of the legacy, right? Infidelity was now part of the legacy. And so that gets then handed down to me, and I have to reconcile and wrestle with what kind of man do I want to be, right? Like, and can I actually rewrite the legacy? One of the other parts of my father, you know, it wasn't the cause of his death, but it probably was a contributing factor, is that he was an alcoholic. You know, so most of my memories of him growing up were when he was drunk.
Intoxicated.
You know, and he was in and out of the house and whatnot, and sometimes would come home and you know, be in a you know, kind of a drunken rage and take the car keys, and we'd be late to school, or he'd bring the car back home late. I mean, there were so many different things as it related to his alcoholism. So then that's a part of the legacy. So for me, I say, you know, I'm the middle child of 3 boys. So my older brother's 3.5 years older, my younger brother 3.5 years younger. And so as I'm trying to navigate manhood, I have to say, okay, you know, my dad didn't, not that the whole legacy was bad. It wasn't, you know, he left a legacy of being a great guy and hard worker and great personality and loved his kids and all that. But at the same time, you got to take the good and the bad. So then as a man, I have a decision. How do I want to live? And then what's the legacy I want to leave? And so, yes, perfection is not possible. We aspire to be perfect. We aspire to be the best we can be. Wonderful. And along the way, we're going to make some mistakes because we're human. Got it. But when it comes to legacy, for me, I'm like, okay, I want to be more intentional, right? Like, I don't want to be a dude who cheats on his wife. I don't want to be that guy. So then as a result, I'm going to make decisions for the guy that doesn't do that. I'm not going to make decisions for the guy that, cheats on his wife. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So part of legacy to me is like identifying how you want to live. Because how we live in the present is a legacy we leave for the future.
Right.
And when I talk about, we talked about in the last session, like being a man of God, right? God is love. So I can't say I'm a man of God if I'm not a man of love.
Right.
I have to be a man of love. What does love mean to me? It means well-being. It means when I say I love someone, that means I'm committed to their well-being.
Right.
When I say that I'm a man of God, I'm a man of love, I am a man of well-being. I want anyone who interacts with me to have an experience where their well-being is improved.
Right.
Because that's the way I want to live. Now, to your point, we have aspirations. We may not always hit the mark, but that's like, if I'm talking about when I'm gone, and what does life mean? At the end of the day, when we get to heaven, we're going to have to find out, because when you talk about Ecclesiastes and Solomon, and yes, it's I don't know why God needed us as spirits to have this human experience. I don't really know, right? And I think that's also okay, because so often, when we talk about faith and we talk about this subject matter, it's like, oh, well, if you don't have the answers, well, there's a lot of things I don't know. Right. I don't know why God allows certain things to happen. I don't know why this experience was created, but I do know that I'm here. And I do want to do the best with it. Right. And the best with it is being that man of love and looking at like, okay, where maybe others missed it. And how can I, maybe not miss it? And part of the thing I've learned is, in order to not miss it or be different maybe than my father, I have to accept that I have the possibility and the potential to be just like him. I have to say, hey, within me, we talk about the book. In the book, I talk about the master and the dog. Every man's got a master and a dog within. The master is love, the dog is lust.
And you're trying to tame the dog.
Tame the dog, right?
Right.
So in order for me to master anything, I got to acknowledge what it is.
Right.
I can't sit up here holier than thou like, oh, no. It's like, no. I got that dog in me too.
Right.
I'm working on mastering it so that the dog doesn't lead me, I lead it.
Yeah, so you're training it.
My
dog is running loose. My dog is off the leash.
We try to get it, dog training school, you know what I'm saying? We try to get it disciplined, you know?
And I think, because even in previous sessions, we've had this conversation before. And again, honestly, I think we want different things out of life.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
Your journey is different from my journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, and even diving into even the world as we view it, and from social media, and because that's what we're on right now. It's people have so many different opinions, but I always say what other people think about me is none of my business.
Yep.
In that sense of like I can't. I'm on assignment, and I got to stay focused. So anything else that has nothing to do with my assignment is a distraction, and I'm still trying to figure my assignment out.
Yes. So let me ask you this, because I don't mean to interrupt or interject. But okay, so when you say, hey, I'm on assignment, I don't want to be distracted.
Yeah.
So then, do the 12 children, do they compete with the focus, or do they complete the focus?
They complete the focus because they are the focus, because clearly those 12 children were sent here under my jurisdiction.
Yes.
For a certain period of time.
Right.
So that's the assignment.
Got it.
Now, an overall assignment completed properly is legacy.
Sure. So
therefore, that's why they become the focal point. And that's why I don't run away from the conversations and everything. So it's like, I'm on assignment. I'm not gonna get it right. I need my eraser on my pencil.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm really trying to figure it out. But and I have to lean into it. I have to take accountability where it is. But truly, if I sit back and say I would design my life the way it is right now, no. You know what I mean?
You're no.
I would have done but I don't have any regrets.
Sure, understood.
But the vision, even though there's times I had vision, even probably like, oh, I'm gonna have a bunch of kids and things like that. But the process and all that it takes to operate the way that I operate, one, I think God gave me all the tools that I need to be able to complete the assignment. But my life would be so much easier if it wasn't for the abundant lifestyle that I've created for myself.
Sure.
But I take it and I accept every challenge. I am an individual who loves challenges. You tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna show you that I can do it. So that's just who I am. That's my character.
Yeah.
So I'm built for this.
Yeah.
But I would have probably much rather chose, a process to where, I wouldn't be responsible for multiple households.
Right.
Multiple, like, it takes a lot. There's only so many hours in the day, but this is my assignment.
Right.
This is where I am, and I'm not running from any aspect of it at any point. So
accountability. That's a critical ingredient in leaving a strong legacy.
Yeah. So,
but let me ask you this: after baby number 4. Why do you say, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm done. I'm going to get this procedure. I'm good. Baby number 6. I'm good. Baby number 8. I'm straight.
Let's talk about it. Man, I mean, because I'm going to be honest. Like I said, even in previous sessions, we talking about, I was probably in a fog for a lot. From divorce to then having a child, still not really even probably healed completely from the divorce. Then what that world brings, and I'm constantly, my train is moving. And when your train is going 90 miles an hour, you can't look to the left or the right. That's why the train tracks are there, to keep you moving. And people are hanging on to this train. And to me, if my train stops, when you slam on the brakes, commotion.
Yeah, the whole thing goes
So my thing's like, let's just keep the train on the track. So as things are coming and I'm in this fog, I'm not even paying attention to probably, hey, I should probably settle it. Hey, and I'm trying to do therapy. I'm trying to, get counsel from multiple people. But if anything, I'm like, I gotta stay afloat. I gotta stay on track. And the only way I know is forward momentum. So when you look up and all that, my own health, you know what I mean? Like a lot of that gets scary and stuff at times. So I'm like, I just gotta keep going. So then, like there's even like the rumors out there, oh, Nick keep having all these kids because he about to die, or he's afraid to lose his life and all. Like it's like, but it's in a sense, it's like when you get to those spaces of, having those moments, looking up at the ceiling in a hospital bed, and you don't know, like you're like, if I do get another chance, Lord, I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. I'm gonna get as much as I can get out of this journey. Yeah. So that does play into it to a perspective, but I think, I'm gonna be honest, it was such a fun, like even look at probably what my children, cause even like, when my first child was like, all right, I got 3 kids, I can rock with this. And then like, all right, I got 4 kids, you know what I mean? Only 2 baby mamas, we can rock at this. And then I'm gonna be honest, like when that pandemic hit and so much went on in 2020 for me, I look up and it's like, oh wow, there's 3 people pregnant at the same time. Like, how does this, like, God is me, you know what I mean? Like, what is, I made all of this. I was the one out there having unprotected sex, but I didn't plan this, but all right, let's continue this journey of, I'm still healing. I'm still trying to be the best father I could be, but it was nights of tears of like, man, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna explain this to not only my family, my public persona of, and I just began to accept who I am and accept the assignment of like, I gotta turn this into purpose in some kind of way. Yeah. I gotta walk that walk, and we're all faced with challenges. We're all faced with different aspects of life, different crosses to bear. I'm gonna continue to carry mine. Yeah. But I don't think if I probably wasn't making a logical decision. Sure. It wasn't planned out in that sense. And even to this day, when people ask me, are you gonna have more children? My answer is, I don't know, because I didn't plan on having all the ones that I have currently. And I don't want to sit here and emphatically be like, no, because, miracles can occur, but, or even in that sense of like, right now, I am very comfortable with, the children that I have, but I don't know what tomorrow holds. And, and like, even I think I probably even made some choices, and you know, I've dealt with this in grieving sessions and stuff too, that even losing a child then opens up a whole nother thing that you like, oh, I gotta fill this void, I gotta feel this pain. And it makes you, as bizarre as it sounds, it makes you want more children. You think that can fix that, whether that's right or wrong.
Sure.
I'm just telling you what the emotions feel. So you wanna find the quickest Band-Aid to at least, maybe. And so, you know, like people are now, you got to deal with that grief, you got to deal with that. But again, sometimes as humans, we don't make sound decisions when our emotions are so high.
No.
So even in that scenario, and like I said, I was faced with a lot in that moment of looking up, and then ultimately like, oh wow, you've had 12 children. You know, at age 30, when I turned 30, I didn't have any children.
At 30, no children.
No children. You know, and by the time 40, we had a dozen. You know what I mean?
And I'm 45, and I don't have any.
Right.
Yet.
So, but 12 may still be on your way.
Man, don't speak that on me. That's not my assignment.
You can get that blessing, my brother.
At 12 ain't my assignment.
But
you know,
so that's
maybe 2.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing at this point in life, and I now hopefully, you know, with the Lord blessing me with long days, I hope to be able to see all my children grow and succeed, because one of the things I believe I can provide is that I can provide the opportunity to give my children the ability to seek whatever they want in life. They can go to whatever school they want to go to. They can dream as big as they want to dream. You know, I can help them invest into an idea. I can help. They want to be an athlete, let's get you the best trainers. You want to be a doctor, let's prepare you to go to the right school. You want to be an artist, let's get you, let me get Stevie Wonder on the phone. Let me, you know what I mean? Let me call, you know, whoever, let me call whoever to help navigate you in this process, because I want to see you win. That same thing with, you know, anybody in my family, from the mothers of my children to my extended family. I want to see people win. I believe I'm in that stage in my life of providing for others, providing opportunities for others, building platforms to help others. So that I thrive in that. And first and foremost, as a father, it's like, all right, hopefully, if I can do anything right, I can create opportunities for my offspring. And that's kind of where I've placed it. You know what I mean? Every day is challenging. I love my life. I feel like even in, you know, like I honestly, and maybe this is part of my mentality too, I believe I'm playing with the house's money. Like I won in life. You know what I mean? I've had those difficult nights of like, I'm probably not gonna make it till tomorrow. You know what I mean? Whether it's my own health and all that, and coming to that calm understanding is like, this is a good run. You know?
Right.
But then to actually get extra days added on, I'm like, all right, well, let's go get it. There's no, every day on this side of the grass is a good one. Every day I wake up is optimism. It's a blessing. So I walk around with a jovial disposition because I'm just grateful for life. You know what I mean? So no matter what is thrown at me, I'm like, we got that. It's gonna make for an interesting story. You know, like, cause who wakes up and be like, oh my God, I got, there's 5 people currently pregnant right now, and last year, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what to do, who to talk to, who to turn to, what truths to reveal, cause I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
You know, so.
Man, you a stronger brother than me. I mean, shoot, if one turned up pregnant, I'd be like, what? You know? Let alone 5. I mean, that's a lot.
And like I said, going back to what we were talking about of dealing with people as individuals. Every individual that's ever given me a child or has, with great purpose, desired and wanted and is an amazing mother, you know, and I would never rob anyone, because again, it's a mutual decision, but I would never do anything to say, look, we both laid down, so therefore now we got to handle this responsibility.
Right.
And I believe every individual that I dealt with, they were at a state in their life, and like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I witnessed you be a great father, so I would love for you to be the father. Like there's conversations that have been had. Now, is the timing perfect? In some opinions, not. In some, maybe yes.
But when that happens,
Yeah.
you have to then go explain to one, hey, just so you know, this is what's happening.
Man.
Like, how, man,
like, some of the toughest conversations I've ever had in my life.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? To tell a woman who is with child that there's another woman with child. And like, it's not for the weak, but I knew the job was dangerous when I took it. Like it's man, like I said, it's going back to what we were talking about, heartbreak, you know, and how love hurts.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I've created covenants. I've made promises and dedications in that sense to where it's like, well, we in it together. There's no escaping now. So at least allow me to be the best individual that I can be and provide for you and show my gratitude for all the grace that you've showed me and all the understanding that you showed me, to where every relationship is different, man. But again, I want people to have the life that they would like to have considering the circumstances.
Right.
And then all of that is like, if I can give my children the best life that they could ask for, because, you know, I see it all the time where people, they say, you know, there's no way, no matter how much money he has, he's still building broken homes because there's no way he can emotionally provide for that. Like, he's like, his bank account may be full, but his heart, there's insufficient funds. Like, I've heard people,
really?
I've heard people say things like that. And I'm like, man, like,
that's wild.
Again, you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna
show you I can
I'm
do
gonna
it.
show you I can, but it's still, those things even hurt to hear.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, my children are gonna be the only ones to be able to judge that. And, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah.
And only
you know what I mean?
know.
And I hope I can, you know, I hope I can make it to the Daddy Hall of Fame. you know what I mean? I hope my batting average is on high, but like you said, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
So if anything, I can instill, like, make as many core memories with my kids that they see Daddy love me.
Yeah.
He may not have been perfect, but he was as present as he could possibly be. And every time he was operating out of love. That's the only answer I got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think that's the hope for any child, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so that's like, yes, if they can come out of life with that perspective of dad's love, I mean, come on, man.
And you know, it's gonna be an interesting ride because there's great men like that we know, that's from Bob Marley to Muhammad Ali to so many others that have kind of walked in a similar path before me.
Yeah.
And you know, I only hear great things about, you know, these individuals. I think, you know, we still working on the Dr. Sebi documentary. You know, they say they still counting Dr. Sebi. He's still got 30 plus.
I didn't know that.
He had his last child 2 years before he passed away, like 84.
Wow, I didn't know.
So
that.
he's Dr. Sebi was like, not to say that I'm trying to be the next Dr. Sebi, but I'm just saying in that sense of like, our journey is what our journey is supposed to be. Our assignments are who are. And I say that to say, I admire the man that you are. And I'm going to keep it a stack all the way here. Like, I'll give it, there was times, and even still, like, there's envy in me when I see you move the way you move. I'm like, man, how he's so good.
Man,
He's a good person.
You know, it's all relative.
Speaking it, he praying for us followers and everything. I'm making TV shows about women twerking and fighting, and he over here praying for all the humanity. Like, I can't be as good as DeVon.
No, man. I ain't know. We all in this together, man. You know what I mean? Two sides of the same coin, you know?
Yeah, man.
I mean, literally, bro. Literally.
Yeah. But you're doing it, man. You walking the walk. I think I've even said this to you on multiple occasions, man. You making us look good. It's a beautiful thing. And I got a question for you, though. I know we wrapping up in this session, but this is a good space to be in because we're in a space of social media where there's a lot of low frequency going on. And there's a lot of just gossip and we throwing each other under the bus, and specifically in our community, man. And even I've seen people take shots at you, even probably during your hardest times.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like even questioning your vulnerability and, you know, surrounded by men and all that, like, all of that stuff. And be like, man, this brother is just really, not only is his heart open, he's trying to love people, and still even we see even his pain, he's still loving people through it. Yeah. How do you deal with a world that is so pessimistic? Yeah. And you're trying to be a light. Sure. Daily for people. Yeah. One, how do you do it? And then how do you deal with the haters that are coming your way?
Well, one, you know, how do I do it? Because it goes back to truth, right? So what you've expressed about your journey is your truth. Right. And getting clear about that truth. Now, regardless of what anybody thinks about it, what you're expressing, this is my truth. Right. And too often we want our truth to be a thing that people say, oh, great, but it's like, yo, this is the truth. Yeah. So for me, you know, what I put out in the world, this is my truth. Right. You know, these things are things I'm passionate about, you know, maybe because being a middle child and growing up, you know, the way that I did, and feeling, you know, as a kid, like, oh, not maybe, I mean, I knew I was loved, but I didn't necessarily feel the love of self. Yeah, yeah. So growing up with that insecurity and finding a lot of my value in achievement, right, is going through all of that. And I think the divorce was kind of the marriage, and the divorce was the apex of like me and God saying, listen, you can try to keep getting through life as an achiever. Right. Or you can get through life as someone who's a beer. Just be who you are. Right, right. So for me, going back to like the first part of the question, it's about truth, right? I just have to be who I am. This is who I am. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to present an image. I'm not trying to be something to somebody. I'm not trying to, you know, create, you know, a narrative. I'm like, yo, this is just who I am. And
you don't turn the cameras on, you rolling blunts at the strip club after this.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I don't even understand the point of a strip club. I'm like, why you?
I'll explain it to you later, DeVon.
Why you gonna pay these women all this money to just jump on you?
It's a good time. That's for another session. But I ain't gonna let you sit here and talk about me and my brothers and what we do.
It don't work for me. That's all I'm saying. But so part of it is truth. Owning my truth and being unapologetic about that truth, regardless to what other people have to say. So then when you talk about the people, you know, and the comments and all of that, this is an area that I really have had to work to get stronger in. Because most of my life, you know, going back to elementary school, middle school, high school, college, even making my way in entertainment, the feedback is always positive.
Right.
So rarely.
That was new for you.
So it was new. So this was new. Like what? Like people think this and that and that. So I
welcome you to the club of haters.
Yes, I have been indoctrinated. Because man, trial by fire.
Man.
You know, and so I had to say, okay, DeVon, if I want to have an impact in this world, it cannot happen without this. Cannot. No, name one person who's ever had an impactful legacy in this world, who didn't go through criticism, who didn't have haters, who didn't have a lot of public dissent and opinions about whether they should do what they should do or how they should do it. There's not one. Not one person that's made an impact in this world that has done it getting unscathed when it comes to criticism and people having dissenting point of views.
Indeed.
So I had to say, to your point about assignment, okay, God, if this is a part of my assignment, if my heart, if my truth is to have a deeper, more meaningful impact in the world, then I have to accept this. Now, I had to learn, okay, DeVon, if the comments are bothering me, what that tells me is that then there's still something in me that is still trying to be an achiever. Because if somebody, like I heard something recently, I'm not going to even repeat what it was, but I heard something recently that wasn't true. And my reaction to it was laughter. It's like, oh, I don't need to get upset about that because it ain't true. If I get upset, it's probably because something about it's true.
You know who said that? I think we shared this before, but no, actually was the first person that ever turned me on to that.
Who?
Will Smith.
Oh yeah. Who
we're both close and mentors.
Man, that's my brother right there.
And there's so much about his life that it has been private and things that we don't know. And I man to man, I asked him one day, man, that don't bother you that people are saying this about you? Yeah. And he's like, it's not true.
Right.
Like he said, if somebody says something that's not true about you, if a stranger says something that's not true about you, you gonna let it affect your joy?
Right. Right.
Like,
exactly.
That's not about that.
Yeah, because if it's not true, it's like it doesn't resonate.
But
right?
if you putting up the fight, a hit dog a holler.
There you go. but the key is if it like there's one comment I saw, I was like, ooh, that affected me. So my immediate thing was like, all right, let me call my therapist. Let me work this out. Let me understand, why does this affect me so much? What about this true? What about this person is saying, even though it's not, I don't like what they're saying, there's something about it that really is upsetting me. Why am I upset? Understanding that before attacking back. Understanding that before it's like, oh, I'm going to tear this person down. Because listen, you can't defend yourself against everything that everybody's going to say. You just can't do it. The other thing is go to the cross, right? What did Jesus do? He said, Father, forgive them.
For they know not what they do. Luke is playing it right here on my back. That is what I have.
Father, forgive them.
For they know not what they do.
So at the end of the day, if I am a follower of Christ, right? How did Christ deal with conflict? Peace, forgiveness, truth, understanding. So for me, I'm like, okay, all right, cool. All right, I'm okay. I don't like it. I'm not gonna sit up and say, oh yeah, I love it. No, I don't like it.
Right.
But I say the price of admission for impact is this. So I'm willing to pay it.
You preaching right now. I can hold up, because I want to go deeper. I gotta go pick up my kids. Hold up. I got a little bit more time. Because what you just, this is what we go through.
Yeah.
And I want to just go here just for a second, because I've actually talked to many members of the community and things, and we dug this, but there's something, and I don't even know what they said about you, but I know what's been said about me in the past. There's something in our industry, specifically the Black community, that is, it's rooted in homophobia, but it saddens me because I feel like I need to address it all the time. But we believe that we must have compromised our integrity because of our successes. And at some point, and one, I honestly feel like it's disrespectful to the LGBTQIA plus community.
Sure.
But I hear this on, and because you said something that makes me want to say, why do we care about something if it's not true? And normally, if somebody said I was bankrupt, I don't care.
Because you know it ain't true.
Yeah. Even when people say, you're a bad dad, I don't care, because I know I'm not a bad dad.
Yeah.
But there's something really weird about, even in our achievements as people in this industry, as heterosexual men, when we hear someone say, oh, he must be gay, or he's or Hollywood. And I have close friends, colleagues, entertainers that are pushing this narrative of, if you did this, then you done did this, and they done got to. The only reason why, and they even associated to, and this is even where I want to go to, because it's spiritual warfare. They associated to, and I feel like it's a lazy statement, but they associated to like the Illuminati. Which I feel like is so lazy, because if anybody really understands what the Illuminati was and all, it was actually some people actually challenging the system in the origins of what they are. But they now call it the Illuminati, as if there's this secret society that are about, that are sexually perverted, and they control entertainment and the ideas of, and we talked about this before too, and like the symbolism and the images that we put out there. So they'll say if everybody from Jay and Beyonce are devil worshipers, all the way to men like you and I and other people that we look up to and stuff are a part of a secret homosexual society. And it's just like, why in our community do we do that? But to your point, why does that bother me?
Right. Well, because I think,
because it's not true.
Right. It ain't true, but maybe goes back to the whole conversation about manhood.
Yeah.
You know, and what are the definitions of that? And how do we, you know, identify with what it means to be a man? And if something like that or a comment like that, you know, may bother us, it may be because it's actually hitting the root of what definition we are, what do you call it? What definition we are identifying with when it comes to being a man.
There it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think, and you know, as we wrap this up, because it thought like, again, when I say college, like even people from like Cat Williams, who I love, who I feel like heart is in the right place. But when we get into the spirit of exposing or even things that, because again, we're all in this to please our audience. Whether it's the films that you make, TV shows, the people who buy your books, people who watch the shows and all the stuff that I create. We have an audience and we're trying to feed them and please them in a way.
That's right.
But if we allow someone to get in the way of that, that is now we're no longer pleasing them. It's like, man, that became a distraction.
Yeah.
Like you took away from my assignment.
Yeah.
You know, and with something that isn't the truth. And you know, they say, a lie can run around the world 3 times before the truth has the opportunity to put his pants on. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like,
I mean,
and it's like, man, you just created a distraction for me that I didn't need. And therefore, if we're really because if we're talking about this being the season of truth, I want the truth to be spoken, and I want to stand 10 toes down on the man that I am. But if you've created all of this noise about me and really my achievements. And like, I'm offended. You know what I mean?
Right.
So all of this hard work and stuff, and all I had to do was go suck something, and like I'm like, what? Like, I've been working my ass off for my
30
entire
years.
And it's like you just want to say, oh well, I didn't achieve that because I didn't compromise my integrity. Like, why can't I just have the favor of God over my life?
And here's the thing, everybody does. Right? Like God's favor is upon all of his children.
And I just walked in it and accepted it.
And that's it.
But why does it have to be that? And again, because, and we talked about this before, and I think you talked about it in Produced by Faith.
Man, that's the OG. That's the first one.
About like being in a world, entertainment it's a dark world. And being a light in a dark world is a difficult walk.
It can be. I mean, for me, it just.
But I needed some counsel on that space because I find myself like I don't want to have frivolous conversations and distractions because, you know, it even speaks in Proverbs when you say, you know, be careful to not quarrel with fools. You know what I mean? And wise men, you know how to end disputes and only a fool quarrel. So it's like, I don't have foolish conversation and don't entertain foolish conversation. But when I feel like you're tarnishing my legacy by, you know, creating crazy conversations, I think it's hurtful.
Well, you know, a couple things in that, right? So in terms of, you know, just life, you know, even if you talk about it spiritually, I believe that when you are on your path, when was the last time when you were going the wrong way you were met with conflict? Usually going the wrong way is pretty easy. It's like, that's a smooth road.
It's a smooth slope on the way down.
It's a smooth slope, like you're good. But when you are aspiring to be responsible, be disciplined, have success, build something, create something, have an impact, you are going to be challenged. It's going to happen. What movie have you ever seen that you liked that didn't have conflict? None. Every movie that you love it because of the conflict. That conflict is there to reveal who we are. So that comment, you know, it's like, oh, you talk about, oh, yeah, successful black men, you know, have made the narrative that some people say, oh, well, you're successful because you've made these compromises in that business. It's like, oh, okay, you can say that, right? And yeah, I can react to it, but I also have to look at it and say, oh, so I must be really successful. If that's the only thing you can say about me. And that actually gives me confirmation. The conflict gives me confirmation. I'm heading in the right direction. Because if I wasn't heading in the right direction, if I wasn't having impact, these lies wouldn't be out there. So the lies, in my opinion, cannot tarnish a legacy. Now, there may be certain things that start to bubble up on social, and you say, okay, look, I just need to address this so y'all know what's real and what isn't, because there's so much, there's so many fallacies out there.
The devil is the author of confusion.
Absolutely. But knowing that, right, if the devil's author of confusion and God is not, right, then my path has to be, as a man of God, a man of no confusion. And what I will do is say, oh, yeah, if certain conflicts, comments happen, I will say that's part of the process. I don't like it, but it's part of the process. But what I'm not going to do is let that comment get me off of my course, my focus, what I'm here to do, what I'm building. Because if I do that, then I let somebody who's not on their purpose win. Because when you are on your purpose, when you are focused, when you are determined, when you are doing what God has called you to do, you don't have time to be over here focusing on what somebody else is doing in their life and to the degree where you over here comment, you ain't got no time. It's like, no. I got things to do. I got deadlines to make. I got bills to pay. I'm on my focus.
I can't even hear you from way up here.
It's like, I don't even have the time to do all of that.
I ain't on that frequency. It's not registered.
That's right. So I'm not going to allow someone to then be the thing that gets me off. Get me off track.
Right.
When you think about Jesus, right? He knew, I've got to go to that cross. I've got to. Disciples, no, don't die. No, we don't. No. Isn't there another way? No. This is the only way. Because until I die on that cross and shed my blood for the sins of the world,
right,
my assignment is not complete. Do you understand the pain of the cross?
Yeah.
And the commentary that still exists today? But at the end of the day, he was like, I'm not going to let that stop me from what I've got to do. And I think that's to me the focus that I think we got to have. Yeah, the comments are out there. People going to say what they're going to say. But I can't let that stop me from what I've got to do. Because if the commentators win, our calling loses. Period. So I'm going to choose my calling. Let them comment all they want. Because at the end of the day, when I stand before God, I'm not going to say, well, God, I didn't do it because somebody on IG wrote this.
Right.
and I got self-conscious about what you were calling me to do, so I stopped doing it.
Right.
No, I got to stand before God. You got to stand before God as a man and take accountability and responsibility for the life that you lived, the life that I lived. And what will be unacceptable is to say, well, God, I didn't fully live the life because I was afraid of criticism. Or because this person said this in the comments, and as a result, I got out of your will, God, and I responded or I adjusted my lifestyle based on a comment.
That's a word.
That was against who you called me to be, God. No, when I stand before God, I want to say, yep, God, the comments were there. The conflict was there, but I stayed the course.
Stood fast.
I stood fast, man. I finished the race.
The doors of the church are now open. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been one amazing session. I think we created a series here.
We sure did.
We did it,
my
man.
brother.
Continue to like, subscribe.
Yeah.
This is a place where we feel together, we reveal together, we deal together so we can heal together.
Amen.
It's Counsel Culture.